been a minute, but I'm back. Cue the intro.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's a geek.
So, a lot has happened. I think probably the most notable thing that's going on right now is the situation with One Piece. If you don't know, you'll know now. I'm going to explain kind of like my anime history just a little tad bit. If you're new to the channel, I've been watching anime since I was very, very young. My first anime ever was Yu Yu Hakusho. My dad had a couple homeboys. One of them name was Eric, and he brought over these Yu Yu Hakusho DVDs. Now, I really got introduced into anime from my dad. My dad used to watch anime all the time. I still remember the times where he watched Bleach and Inuyasha and things like that. But Yu Yu Hakusho was my first ever anime. Then I finished that. I remember finishing that. It was Blu-ray DVDs. Then the next thing I watched was One Piece. So I've been watching One Piece for a very, very long time. When I first started, I watched on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll was still a thing back then. But when I first started, One Piece probably had like 300 episodes, I want to say. And I eventually caught up, and I've been caught up for a long time. So One Piece is really my first love when it comes to this anime stuff. Well, Yu Yu Hakusho technically is. One Piece, it was my favorite anime, still is to this day. Eventually, around when Gear 4 was starting to happen, that's when I started reading the manga, because originally I was just anime only. So I started reading the manga from there, and then I kind of just stayed with that. So I'm caught up to the anime, and I'm caught up to the manga. With that being said, the anime adaptation, live action adaptation of One Piece has dropped, and we're coming up on the season 2 coming out very, very soon. Now, with season 2 coming out, when them dropping the trailer and the characters, there have been a lot of disagreements with the fan base with one specific character, and that character is none other than Vivi. Now, Vivi is a very, very important character. I had to go back and rewatch and do all that stuff with Vivi, but if I'm not mistaken, she was more so important in like the Alabasta arc and things like that. So if you notice, in the anime, Vivi is depicted as a white woman, which most of the women who actually have some plot are depicted as. Alabasta, if you don't know about One Piece or anything at all, Alabasta is basically a place where it's a desert land. And if you notice in real life, a lot of the people who are out there in those Middle Eastern countries, they're not white. They're fair skinned. So Vivi is I don't want to say her nationality, but so yeah, as you can tell, a lot of outrage sparked because of that. Now, there are a few reasons why there was any outrage. One, you have to look at our climate and where we are in society today. Y'all know who is the president. Everything about the people who are in office right now is taken to be a joke. A lot of those people are racist. A lot of MAGA are racist. So we're in a country where a lot of people are just open with saying how they feel truly when it comes to being prejudiced and things like that to people that are not their own color. And of course, I'm talking about racist white people. Y'all know how I am. I keep it honest. I keep it straight. I'm a straight shooter with y'all. Before I get to the Oda picking the lady, the actress, to play Vivi, which Oda did pick this person, it shouldn't matter if Oda picked her or not. Vivi being white has nothing to do with her character, her lineage, any of that. But it makes sense for her to be diverse or to be fair-skinned, whatever, because you're in a desert area. Now, here's the problem I have with this outrage as a whole. I imagine the people who are having this outrage probably haven't even watched the show. You couldn't have watched the show if you're being upset that Vivi she's not white anymore. They changed her race. If you're a One Piece fan, the main topic in One Piece deals with racial issues. That's literally what One Piece is. One Piece is a story about prejudice, about slaves. We just got Kuma's backstory in the anime. You know what I'm saying? Kuma was a slave and reached a new height. He was even a king at one point. And you have these people who came from royalty, from the founding families, from the world government, and kind of haven't done much for themselves. They kind of benefit off of their heritage. You can't look at that and then be a celestial dragon in real life. If you're having an issue with how Vivi is portrayed, even if they change the race swap any other character, no matter if they're swapping from black to white or white to black, whatever, you have to realize Oda made this show for diverse people. Whether you like it or not, that's what this show is all about. There are a lot of different races and lineages in One Piece. You got the Tontadas, you got the Giants, you got the Buccaneers, you got Fishmen, you got regular humans, it's so many, the Lunarians, it's so many different species in this show. And to see this show depicted and to see how Oda depicts these people who are prejudiced against other people just by how they look, and for y'all to do the same thing is very disgusting. Oda picks on those people all the time. So you're becoming one of those people that Oda picks on. One Piece is a story about hope. It's a story about Luffy going through island to island, liberating these people who are held in captivity by a world government that oppresses its citizens, its slaves, and tries to hide its history. It's very similar to America. If you've grown up in America, you know, or maybe y'all don't, the history that is taught isn't always the correct history. Everything we learn in America it's only the details about what we benefited off of. We won this, we won that. They don't tell us what we lost. They don't tell us in school and this and that, the stuff that Americans did that were bad. They don't tell y'all how bad they treated these slaves. Y'all acting just like the world government. Can we have a community where, and a lot of these anime communities are toxic. And I hate One Piece is starting to go in that lane where we were just bickering over stupid stuff. I had to give my opinion on that. When it pertains to One Piece live action as a whole, I'm very excited to see what we do. I'm kind of upset and a little curious. We all know, and I was one of those people who didn't admit it for the longest time, but One Piece does have pacing issues. But I think we're going the wrong direction when it comes to this pacing. I don't know if y'all saw it, but apparently this next season, the season 2 of One Piece is going to cover like 5 arcs. And then we'll have like the season 3 to cover the Alabasta arc as a whole. So it's going to cover like Whiskey Peak and this and that and stuff like that. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to have an episode per arc. And I'm a little scared because I don't want them to speed run this show. But at the same time, because One Piece is over 1,000 episodes, over 1,000 chapters, you kind of have to do that to keep the audience interested who hasn't watched the show or read the manga. And that's another thing. A lot of y'all are getting confused between the anime and the manga. The live action adaptation is not an adaptation of the anime, it's an adaptation of the manga itself, not the anime. So you can't say that, for instance, that Vivi is supposed to be white when maybe the anime got it wrong. And maybe she was supposed to be fair-skinned the whole time. So we have this live action show that's adapting the manga. And like I said, I'm a little nervous on how that's gonna happen, but season 1 for the most part was really good. And I think we're gonna get more about Crocodile. We're gonna be getting Mr. 2, 3, 4, 5, all the people. And it's gonna be cool for me as a person who, I haven't went back and try to rewatch One Piece. It's cool for me to rewatch in a way this stuff again and get the experience I had when I was a kid watching this show. But yeah, what do y'all think about the Vivi situation? Do y'all think the response was warranted from the internet? Should she have still been a white character, or are y'all cool with her being fair-skinned? That's all I got for y'all today. If you love the video, like the video. If you don't love the video, so like the video. I'm on the road to 500 subscribers. I appreciate it. If you like my content, share my content. Without further ado, I'm out. Peace.